teach in the mornings for now. I will keep the Wednesday evening class at 5:30, and I'm going to add a class on Sunday evenings. So that will start at 5 p.m. on Sunday evening. Way back when, it must have been about 8 years ago now or more, I taught a class on Sunday evenings. Honestly, that was a really fun class. So hopefully that will be there'll be a good vibe, Sunday evening vibes. The name of the class today is Workable Fixative. So that's a tool that you would use in drawing or painting. It's just a spray that you put over a painting or drawing when you like what you have. You're going to change it, but you want to kind of preserve some of what's going on. And I've been doing a little artwork, and I was going to use some Workable Fixative, and I was like, oh, this really reminds me of like the state of mind I'm in with my practice, my yoga practice, and my teaching, where I like a lot of what's going on, but I know changes are coming, and things need to be continued to be worked out, as they always will be. So the idea today is looking at our practice, looking at the postures, looking at what we are doing in our lives, kind of assessing what's going on, what's working, what we know for now, and then kind of holding on to that, looking at that, deciding to preserve some of what's there, and then continuing to do the work. So with that in mind, we're going to explore some twists today. I'm going to record my podcast, so let me start that. Okay, so here we go. There might be a little additional outdoor noise today because the weather is so nice. I've opened the door. Welcome, fall. Let's start in a cross-legged seated position. So you might take this seat up on some padding in the form of blankets, blocks, a bolster, even a chair. And then cross your legs. So I'm taking Siddhasana by bringing my heels in line with the center of my body and bringing one in front of the other. So if that's a comfortable position for you, I'm doing that because I put so much padding, 2 blankets underneath my hips, so it allows me that space. Explore. Find the posture that makes you feel supportive, helps you to ground into the earth as well as grow tall along the spine. And then once you have found that position, close your eyes and consider this idea of the workable fixative. So this is the point where you're kind of you're preserving some of what's going on, and then you're working into this shape. So once you've established your seated position, start to notice how you are feeling in your body. What might be calling for your attention? Areas of soreness, discomfort, pain, areas that might feel liberated. Let your mind traverse your body. And then consider all the external input you're receiving. So notice the feeling of those spaces where your body is touching the surfaces beneath you. Feel the weight of pushing into the earth, and then those surfaces beneath you pushing back up on your body. You might notice the temperature of the air around you, that air mingling with your skin. Are there any areas of the skin that feel particularly sensitive to temperature? Does the air around you feel cooler or warmer than your body temperature? Begin to notice your breathing. Direct breath in and out through the nostrils. Begin to cultivate slow and deep breath. Then perhaps begin the practice of Ujjayi pranayama by drawing in a gentle contraction at the back of your throat. Listen for the sound of your own breath. I had an outdoor yoga experience over the weekend. My mat was in the grass under the shade of a tree. The sun was shining. There was a breeze blowing. And I realized in that setting there was so much more external stimulus, just the natural world around me. And I was considering how often, most of my experience with yoga has been done indoors in temperature-controlled spaces. The experience of doing yoga outdoors really brought me into the navigating the inner experience of the body while also being more sensitive to external stimulus. So consider throughout today's practice that we are navigating both of these experiences. They are influencing one another. So just as the breath moves from outside of you, the air enters into your body, fills your lungs, oxygenates the blood cells, and then exits the body back into the world, changed from the experience of moving through you. let's do some Ujjayi Pranayama with a breath count where the inhalation and the exhalation ratio are 1 to 1. So I'm going to lead you through 3 breaths, and I'll use, I'm going to try an inhale of 8 and an exhale of 8. And then you can assess whether that is too long of a duration for your breath or too short, and then I'll let you go off and do a couple on your own with your the count of your choice. So everybody empty your lungs, and we'll inhale together for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill and hold. With control, exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty the lungs. Draw in and up on your pelvic floor. Mula Bandha. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill and hold. With control, empty from top to bottom. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold empty, Mula Bandha if you choose. Last one together. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill and hold. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty the lungs, hold empty for a moment, and then resume 3 1-to-1 Ujjayi Pranayama with your own count. Everybody, a little more time to complete the final 3 rounds of breath. And once you're done with those, please join your hands together in front of Heart Center. We'll chant Om 3 times, again thinking of this 3-part, 3-syllable sound, A-U-M as opposed to O-M, and consider the sound vibrating the inner body, moving up the central channel of the spine from the floor of the pelvis up to the back of the throat. And as you experience that inner vibration, can you also concentrate on the sound that your voice is projecting into the world? So this internal and external interaction happening simultaneously. Exhale and inhale for Om. Om. head to your heart. Release palms to thighs. Slowly lift your head as you open your eyes. And we'll remove the padding, but keep it close. Come onto your knees. Knees together. You can tuck your toes behind you to open up the soles of the feet. This potentially can be very intense experience for the soles of the feet. So at any point when that becomes too overwhelming for your experience, you can point the toes back. You can even slip some padding between your hips and your heels if that feels supportive. Okay, so we're going to do our cat and cow spinal rolls, but from a seated position. So, and we're going to move up the spine. So first we're going to inhale to tilt the pelvis forward, tailbone points back, and then exhale to tilt the bowl of the pelvis back, tailbone forward. Inhale, pelvis tilts forward, exhale, pelvis tilts back. One more, inhale, exhale. Then we're going to move from the middle section. So the lower ribs are going to jut forward, and then the lower ribs are going to knit together and draw back. Inhale, jut the ribs forward. Exhale, abdominal muscles curl in towards one another, belly button pulls in towards the spine. Inhale, exhale. Now moving up to the chest, the upper back. Inhale, shoulders are going to roll back. Heart is going to project forward. You might even look up, opening up the throat. Exhale, roll the shoulders forward. Pull the heart towards the back wall. Inhale, heart expands forward. Maybe head and gaze tilt up. Exhale, roll the shoulders forward. Separate the shoulder blades apart. One more in the chest. Inhale. Soften the face. Exhale, heart space moves back. And let's do some with the breath, moving the whole spine. So pelvis tilts forward, low ribs jut forward, heart lifts up, head goes back. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, tailbone tucked. Space between the vertebra along the spine, and move with the pace of your own breath. I'm also noticing for my own movement that I'm kind of using the pressure of the hands to make a more exaggerated experience of my chest going forward. So with the hands on the thighs, I'm kind of pulling my hands apart and back to pull the shoulder blades together behind the heart. And then as I round the spine, the hands push down and forward. So kind of getting some traction with the hands. Okay, let's come to a neutral spine. I'm going to untuck my toes. So, if you're following my lead, you might untuck your toes as well. And I'm going to find my blocks. I have 2 blocks, and I'm going to place them along the sides of me. So you can do this without blocks, but if you have the blocks, they just bring the earth a little closer to you. I'm putting my blocks at their lowest setting, about 2 feet out to either side of me, and then I'm going to tent my fingertips onto the blocks. Lift my chest up, lengthen the tailbone down, draw my lower ribs gently in and back to create a tall spine. Fingertips tented on the blocks. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, start to lean and take my gaze to the left wall. Chin stays parallel to my chest, or parallel to the floor, excuse me. Extend down through the right fingertips. Keep breathing. Keep the face soft. And notice what and where you're noticing. What and where is calling for your attention. And with an inhale, come back through center. Exhale, chin parallel to the floor, look to the right wall. Extend down through the left fingertips. Likely you feel a sensation along the left side of the neck. Extending the trapezius muscles. And then let's inhale through center and just do a couple of rounds with the breath. Exhale, look left. Inhale, center. Exhale, look right. Inhale, center, and release the right ear towards the right shoulder. Start to nod the head forward and back. Focusing on the left trapezius muscles again. And you might pause in any pose here, any place where you feel particularly tense, or maybe a feeling of being kind of stuck. Breathe through the space, moving prana through the body. An inhale as we come back to center, left ear towards the left shoulder, and nod the head forward and back on the left side. You might manipulate your jaw, see how that changes the experience. Being curious about sensation here. Pause in any place where you feel a desire to create more expansion, more release. And with your next inhale, come back to center. So we're going to do Bharadvajasana, which is a twist. Keep the knees together. Sweep your feet out to the right, sitting down on the left hip. Take the left ankle in the arch of right ankle in the arch of the left foot. Left hand comes behind. Tall spine. Right hand crosses to the left thigh. Inhale, grow tall. And exhale, begin to revolve. Right to left, bottom to top, inside to outside. So again, this theme of workable fixative. So come to the, sketch out the general shape of the pose. And then start to create a fix there. So you have this, you maintain this shape, but then you start to work the details into the pose. Start to, think about using your breath as your pencil or your paintbrush, working into different aspects of the pose. Something to notice here is the lower ribs tendency to jut forward. Create more length in the middle spine by drawing the low ribs in and back. Collarbones broaden as you hug the shoulder blades gently together. And then lastly, place the chin parallel to the floor and begin to look back. So there's some variations on this that you might consider exploring. Instead of keeping the left fingertips on the floor, you might wrap the left hand back around the right hip. You might even attempt to grip the right hip with the left hand, allowing you to pull the left shoulder blade more deeply onto the back of the chest. You might make the right arm more available and try to grab the right arm with the left hand. again, establish the outline of the shape and then work into the shape with breath, with awareness over time. Inhale, move into a counter twist, and then we'll switch to the second side. Keep the knees together, swing the legs out to the left. Left ankle goes into the arch of the right foot. Establish a tall spine, right hand behind. Left hand crosses to the right thigh. Inhale, grow tall, and exhale, begin to revolve. These seated twists, I often refer to this imagery of a spiral staircase. Consider the mind, the consciousness, awareness moving from the ground, from the floor of the pelvis, across the hips and low back, through the abdomen, lower ribs, middle back, across the chest, the shoulder blades, and eventually the posture reaching the neck as you keep your chin parallel to the floor and look towards the back wall or even over the right shoulder. Be mindful again of keeping the low ribs gently drawing in towards one another and pulling back to keep the middle spine long. And then again, opportunity to explore variations here. Right arm might wrap behind, reaching for the top of the left hip. You might move the left arm to make it more accessible. So you can grab the top of the left arm with the right hand. All of this giving you more leverage to draw the right shoulder blade onto the back of the chest. And inhale, come through the counter twist, and we'll come up to standing on our knees. We're going to come to gate pose. Take your left leg out, and options to either turn the toes up, pointing the kneecap straight up, or wrap the outer foot towards the floor so the kneecap points more forward. Again, experiment in your practice for what they're going to affect the leg in different ways. Right leg grounds, reach up along your right ear with your right arm. Grow tall along the spine. Inhale, and then exhale, slide the left arm down the left leg, keeping the hips and chest squaring forward. Lengthen the right side of the body as you root down through the right knee. Reach through the right fingertips. And then notice the change in sensation as you begin to turn your gaze up beyond your right tricep muscles towards the ceiling. And then as you change the gaze, you might notice tension that is reflected in the face. By softening the face, is it helpful with your intention to arrive in the moment? Soften into the present moment. Meet your body where it's at with acceptance. Inhale, come back through center, right arm down, left knee to the floor, right leg out to the right, sickle the outer edge of your right foot to the earth, tone the muscles of your right leg, left arm extends along the left ear, reach up, exhale, right arm slides down the outside of the right leg, lean to the right, lengthening the left side of the body. Knee grounds, reach through the fingertips. Awareness and breath along the left side body. And then notice a change in sensation as you turn the gaze up beyond the left tricep muscles. And as the gaze goes up, notice tension in the face. Perhaps Soften the cheeks, unfurrow the brow, unclench your jaw. And with an inhale, come back to center, left arm down. Let's come into a tabletop position and again do some spinal exploration with our cat and cow shapes. Inhale, tailbone, and gaze up into the cow pose. And exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, tailbone towards the floor, belly button towards the ceiling. Push the earth away in cat. And continue with the pace of your own breath through these two shapes for a couple of rounds. Notice the range of motion of your spine. And since we already did something similar to this, notice how that seated cat and cow may be influencing your more traditional cat and cow. What are you noticing today that you might not notice other times you practice this? You might consider moving in that same way where you first focus on the hips, tilting the pelvis forward and back, and then start to move awareness up into the middle back and the rib cage, and then start to move with more intention in the upper back and chest. Let's come to a neutral spine and bring the knees a little bit wider apart. Thread the left hand between the knees, reaching back for the right calf, ankle, or heel, landing the back of the left shoulder, left side of the head on the mat. Once you have a grip on the left leg with the right hand, you might intensify the experience by pushing the knees strongly into the floor and shifting the hips towards the left, gradually. Right fingertips on the floor, pushing the hand down and shifting the right shoulder towards the left side of the mat. Gaze going up underneath the right armpit towards the ceiling. And again, I have imagery I like to use here of wringing out a sponge. So as you inhale, fill the body with breath, like filling a sponge with water. As you exhale, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Empty the body of breath like wringing out the sponge. And inhale, let's come back through center. Second side, right arm threads between the knees, reaching back for the right ankle, calf, or heel. Landing the back of the right shoulder on the floor, left fingertips tent, knees down, hips shift right, look up beyond the left tricep muscles towards the ceiling. And then work that sponge. Inhale, fill the lungs, fill the sponge. Exhale, wring it out. Belly button in towards the spine, promoting blood circulation, a cleansing pose, a revitalizing pose. Okay, back through tabletop. Place the right hand below the face, left hand to the base of the skull. Inhale, open the chest towards the left wall, supporting the head and the hands, look up. Exhale, left elbow towards the right wrist. Inhale, open left. Exhale, curl in. 3 more of these first side. Inhale, open left. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, left. Exhale, curl. Last one, first side. Inhale, open left. And exhale, curl in. Place the left hand below the face, right hand to the back of the skull. Inhale, open right, look up. Exhale, curl in, shoulder blades apart. Inhale, open right. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, right. Exhale, curl. Inhale, right. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, open. Exhale in. Last one. Inhale, open right. Look up. Exhale, curl the elbow towards the wrist. Plant the hands below the shoulders. Spread the fingers. Walk the knees back about 8 inches. Knees are hip width distance apart. Toes are tucked under. Push the hands strongly down and forward. Maybe even look forward today. Spread your fingers. Root through the knuckles of each finger. And then lift the knees just about 6 to 8 inches away from the floor. Emphasizing the distance from your hands, pushing down and forward, lengthening the arms, and then extending back through the hips. Then begin to lift the hips up, lengthening through the backs of the legs. Release the head down. Walk out your dog. Hello, dog. Shifting hips from side to side, bending one knee at a time. And then bring your dog to stillness. If you'd like, follow me through 5 push-ups. Inhale to come forward into plank, shoulders over wrist, shoulders, hips, and knees in a line. If the hips are sagging down, engage the legs, lift through the inner thighs, lengthen through the tailbone, draw your lower front ribs in and back to get your hips in line with your knees. If that does not lift your hips, then bring your knees to the floor for better alignment, better support for the low back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, push back to plank. And exhale, hips shift back into down dog. 4 more. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 2. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 3. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 4. Last one, first set. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. And exhale, hips shift back. Downward facing dog. Right foot inches towards center as you extend your left leg straight up and back. Hold in the 3-legged dog. Look back at your left toes. Point the toes and the knees straight downward as you lift with the strength of the thigh. Look at the right leg. Release the right heel deeper towards the floor as you lift and tone along the front of the right leg. Extend and lift the left leg. Push the hands down and forward, then look forward. Exhale, lunge your left foot between your hands, creating a long stride. Perhaps, if you have blocks, setting them on either side of your front foot for your lunge. Hips sink down and forward. Reach back with the right heel, lift with the right inner thigh. Gaze is forward, collarbones are broad, establishing the lunge. Extension and contraction. Stability and flexibility. And then exhale, hips shift back, straighten the left leg, lift into the left kneecap around the spine. Inhale forward and a few times with the breath. Exhale, modified pyramid pose, round the spine, chin to chest, forehead towards or to the knee. Inhale, back to the lunge with your own breath pace, choosing to hold in either of these postures. With your next inhale, come back to the lunge. Bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows to the ceiling, draw back through the sides of the waistline, come all the way up to standing. Sweep your arms up and overhead, Inhale, square the gaze forward. Exhale, open left. That's 2. Inhale, square forward. Exhale, open left. Inhale, forward. Exhale, open left. Inhale, forward. Last one, we're going to hold. Exhale, open left. Spray the fixative and start to move, add details to the pose. So either choose to stay here with the arms out. You might wrap the left arm to the outside of the right hip. Sweep the right arm overhead and lean back. Maybe even look up. Stay deep in the lunge. Strong in the back leg. Conscious of the breath. Soft in the face. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands to frame the front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Reacquaint with the dog, maybe walk it out, shifting the hips exaggeratingly from side to side, maybe turning the toes out a little bit as you explore the outer hips. Back to stillness. Inhale forward to plank. If you'd like, follow me through 5 more push-ups. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 1. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 2. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 3. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back 4. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hips go back. Left foot towards center. Right leg lifts straight up and back. Look back at the right foot. Make sure the knee and toes are pointing straight downward. Lift through the inner thigh. Push back through the heel. Lengthen the left heel downward. Lengthening the back of the legs. You tone up the front of the left leg. Try to diminish the crease at the front of the left ankle. And then look to the top of your mat. Lunge the right foot forward between your hands. Set up with fingertips on the mat or on the floor on either side of your right leg, establishing the lunge. Collarbones broad. Gaze forward. Hips releasing down as back inner thigh lifts. Again, feel the pulse of stability and expansion. Contraction and expansion. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale next, send the hips back. Round the spine, chin to chest, forehead towards or to the knee. Lift into the left kneecap, pull back through the, sorry, I'm getting left and right confused today. Lift into the right kneecap, pull the right outer hip back. Inhale, back to the lunge. Exhale, send the hips back. Move with your breath, exploring the motion between these two shapes. Perhaps taking additional breath to explore each shape in turn. Inhale, back to the lunge, hands to hips, elbows to the ceiling, draw back through the sides of the waistline, come up. Lengthen the tailbone down, roll the shoulders back, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, open the chest to the right, arms down to the height of the shoulders. Inhale, center, arms up. Exhale, open right. Inhale, center. Exhale, open right. Inhale, center. Exhale, open right, 4. Inhale, center, last one. Exhale, open right. Arms down to the height of the shoulders. Experiment possibly with wrapping the right hand to the outside of the left hip. Left arm along the left ear. Lean back, look up. Deep in the lunge, soften the face. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands frame the front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Remove the blocks if you have them. Explore the dog, turning the toes out to either side of the room as you shift the hips strongly up and back, one at a time. Either stay with the down dog or join me through one more set of 5 push-ups. Inhale forward, exhale lower. Inhale, press up, exhale, hip shift back 1. Inhale forward, exhale lower. Inhale, press, exhale back 2. Inhale forward, exhale lower. Inhale, press, exhale back 3. Inhale forward, exhale lower. Inhale, press, exhale back 4. Last one, inhale forward, exhale lower. Inhale, press, exhale, hip shift back. Downward facing dog. Bend to the knees, lift up onto the toes, draw the hips, draw the sides of the waistline skyward. Look to the space between your hands, shift your shoulders forward so you feel your hands are more weight bearing. At the end of your next exhale, lift your hips high and land your feet at the top of your mat. Okay, we're doing a lot of repetition here today, so let's continue with that. Let's do 4 more of these. Hopper, step back, down dog. Bend the knees, lift through the sides of the waistline, shift the gaze and shoulders forward. Exhale. Arrive at the top of your mat. Again, hopper, step back. Find the breath. Bend the knees, lift through the sides of the waistline, shift the weight forward, look forward. Exhale. Forward fold. 2 more. Hopper, step back. Bend the knees. Lift through the sides of the waistline. Look forward. Exhale. And last one. Quietest one. Feel free to spontaneously arrive in a, what is it? Handstand. Exhale. Okay. Everybody meet at the top of the mat. Feet hip width distance apart. Lift and spread the toes. Create that wide base of contact with the soles of the feet. Bend the knees, rest the torso on the thighs, and let the upper body hang forward. Give those arms a rest. Take hold of wrist, forearms or biceps. Sway from side to side. Encourage release here. So as the hips lift high into the air, the upper body cascades down towards the earth, creating space between each vertebra along the spine, between the ribs. Head like a weight, drawing the spine long. Perhaps find some stillness in the pose. Spray on that Workable Fixative, and then start to experience the details of the shape with the breath. As you inhale, feel movement of prana up the backs of the legs. As you exhale, feel that energy cascade down the length of your spine, releasing the elbows and the crown of the head deeply towards the earth. As you're ready, bring your fingertips to the floor. And that was kind of a passive extension of the spine, where we're really working to let go to unleash more expansion. So now we're going to add to that expansion by actively pushing the feet down, lengthening up along the backs of the legs, lifting the kneecaps in and up, pushing the hips towards the ceiling, and extending the crown of the head downward, lengthening actively along the back of the neck. You might start to bend your elbows out to either side of the room, drawing the shoulder blades up away from the ears so the sides of the neck lengthen. And then with an inhale, fingertips come lightly onto the shins, lift halfway, shoulder blades on the back. Exhale and fold in, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, circle the arms out, up and overhead, push down through the feet as you lift the gaze up, reach through the fingertips, hands together in front of the heart. As many of you have been with me for for many classes now, I think most people will be familiar with the C salutations. So we'll practice a few C salutations, and if you're not familiar with them, just watch the first time and we'll go through it a few times. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, flow forward, fingertips to the floor in front of you, release your head. Inhale, bring the fingertips to the shins, lift halfway. Exhale, sink the hips as though into a chair. You might bring the fingertips behind for support. Inhale, reach forward with the gaze and the arms to keep the hips low, half awkward chair. Exhale, sink the hips down, swing the legs overhead, and then roll forward, balancing on the feet, coming back to the half chair. Exhale, hips high, head low. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead, look up, palms touch. Exhale, hands back through heart center, Tadasana, mountain pose, and again. Inhale, arms and gaze, reach up. Exhale, flow forward. Inhale, lift halfway, fingertips on the shins, shoulder blades on the back. Exhale, sink the hips into the chair. Inhale, arms forward, gaze forward, waistline back. Exhale, melt the hips down, swing the legs with some momentum overhead, coming back forward to balance on the feet, half awkward chair. Exhale, fold deeply in. Inhale to come all the way up to standing, palms touch. Exhale, hands through heart center, Tadasana. One more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, flow forward with the breath. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, sit into the chair. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, hips down, swing the legs. Inhale, balance on the feet, half lift or half chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise to stand, push the feet down, reach the gaze and hands up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Open the chest forward, palms forward, shoulders back. Become your mountain. Feel the support of the earth from which you're rising up through strong legs. Feel the strength and vulnerability of this shape as you stand tall and strong, opening the heart to the world. Soften the expression of the face. Okay, so from here we're going to take some crescentine shapes, a back bend, and then we are going to practice a revolved triangle using some wall space. So hopefully you have some wall space in your practice area that you can use for this. Ground down through the feet, tone the muscles of the legs, lift into the pelvic crest, lengthen down through the tailbone, come to Tadasana, palms forward, collarbones broad. Inhale as you sweep the arms overhead. You might interlace the fingers and cross the thumbs, pointing the index finger skyward. Push down with the feet, reach up through the sides of the waistline. Exhale, upper body leans to the left, hips shift to the right. You can do this with feet together or feet apart as I have them. Push down through the right heel, lengthen the right side body. If this feels painful in the low back, you might bring the left hand to the hip for support, pushing the hips downward as you lengthen the spine. Focus on the extension of the right side body. Just as we did in gate pose, you might notice sensation as you turn your gaze up beyond the right tricep muscles. Soften the face. Notice the right side body. Use the breath to paint the details of the posture. Inhale back through center. Switch the interlace of your fingers. Reach up. Exhale, upper body leans to the right. Use the strengthen the legs, draw in Janu Bandha, kneecaps in and up, lengthen the tailbone down, press down with the left foot, reach with the left arm. You might bring the right hand to the hip for support of the low back. You might notice as you turn the gaze up beyond the left tricep muscles. Soften the face. Spray some fixative, and then continue to work the pose with the tool of your breath. Inhale to come back to center. Okay, we're going to do a back bend. Give you a couple of options here. You can interlace the fingers at the low back if you'd like. If you are doing so, you have this awareness of the knuckles against the lower spine. Try to extend the tailbone downward, pushing down through the heels as you lift into the kneecaps, lift into the front of the pelvis. So hands interlaced, or you can take football goalpost arms, or choose to take arms overhead. So make a choice, then lift into the heart space, push down through the feet, extending down and reaching up. Look up with the gaze. Focus on the space of your heart, expanding the heart space internally and expanding the heart space into the world. As you're ready, start to lean the head back, look along the ceiling towards the back wall. Keep the feet pushing downwards, stabilize with the legs. And move into the unknown, into the unknown. Okay. Keep going, keep breathing, keep singing. As you're ready, ribs, chest, arms, head come up. Release the arms down. Do a little shoulder rolling. One direction and the other. Okay, let's do a little hula hooping. Get your invisible hula hoop. You know, mine's way over here for some reason. Off camera. Okay. Place it around your waist. Swing it out. Let your ankles and knees be soft. Maybe feel different pressure of the earth against your feet. Fluid movement, keeping that hoop from falling to the ground. Swing it off in the other direction. Just so you guys know, I didn't lose my hula hoop. I just didn't want you guys to be jealous of my cool hoop. So I'm using my invisible one, which everyone has access to. Okay, feels good. Grab your hoop. Here, practice, what is this called again? Discus? Okay, practice your discus. I completely forgot how to do it. Just broke an invisible window with my invisible hula hoop. Okay, as promised, let's do this revolve triangle against a wall. So I might need to move my monitor so you guys can see me. You can see me. Okay, so I'm using this nice unobstructed wall space, and I'm going to bring my mat long ways parallel to this nice open wall where, you know, there's not a bunch of spikes coming out of the wall. You know, everybody has that wall in their house where it's like just spikes coming out of the wall. Okay, so I'm going to bring a block to the base of the wall, and then I'm going to take my left foot in front with the block between my foot and the wall. My left foot is forward, my left hip is against the wall, or near the wall, you know, it's about 6 inches from the wall. Right foot steps back, setting up for revolve triangle or similar leg position, same leg position as pyramid pose. So both legs are straight. My right toes are angled towards the top right corner of my mat, and my legs are about 3.5 feet apart. The closer the legs, the easier it will be to square the hips and keep that back foot grounded. But you might work at the edge of your the edge of your ability, so that right outer hip foot might be lifting up in this shape. So I'm going to take my hands to the hips. Imagine I have headlights at the front of my pelvis, 2 headlights, and shine those headlights forward. So my right outer hip is going to wrap towards the top of my mat. The left outer hip is going to pull back as I tone the muscles up my left leg. So instead of thrusting the left knee back to lock it, I'm going to engage the left knee. So I call this Janu Bandha, knee lock. Pull the kneecap in and up, like pulling up a tight stocking, a tight legging up the left leg. So hips and chest square forward. Tailbone lengthens down, still an awareness of the middle spine, lower ribs drawing gently in. Okay, from here, I'm going to look up, lengthen along the front of my torso, lifting up through the chin. And then as I exhale, hinge at the hips, follow me through all this. Pull the left hip back, keep the chin and chest parallel to the floor. So Janu Bandha, left leg, draw the left hip back. And then I'm going to place my right hand on the block at the outside of my left foot. So it's my hand is now on the block between my foot and the wall. Extend the crown of the head forward, pull the left hip crease back, and now I'm going to bring my left hand to the wall. That can be intense, as I'm noticing now. So this is a pretty deep revolution. If it feels more accessible, more mindful to bring the block to the outside of the foot, or the right side of the foot, then do that. I've made that switch for myself. So left fingertips on the floor, keep drawing back through the left outer hip, lift into the left kneecap, and I'm starting to revolve my right waistline, right ribs, right shoulder towards the wall. So I have my left elbow bent, my fingertips tented for now. That's giving me some leverage to revolve in the spine. If you'd like, take your left hand all the way up the wall, press the left palm into the wall. If the right hand is on the floor, on the block, pull back with the right hand. Draw the right shoulder away from the right ear, look up. Activate the right leg, lift into the right kneecap, try to ground through the outer edge of the right foot. And then breathe into this shape. So spray the fixative, keep what you've got going, and paint in the detail, expand the experience with the tool of your breath. Okay, unwind, hands back to hips, draw back through the waistline, come on up. I liked that. I haven't done that in a little while. Okay, so step forward. I'm going to move my mat so you can see me a little better on the second side. And you're going to turn to the opposite side of the room so that your right hip is now against the wall. Step your right foot so it points straight ahead and the block is between the foot and the wall. Left leg steps back, maybe three and a half feet. Left toes point towards the top left corner of the mat. And the heels might be in line or just slightly apart. Right hip towards the wall. Hips and chest square forward. Shine those headlights to the wall in front of you. Janu Bandha, especially on the right leg. Pull the kneecap in and up as you root down through the right big toe ball mound and pull back through the right outer hip. Elbows back, gaze goes up. Lengthen along the front of the torso. And then as you exhale, hinge the length of your spine parallel to the floor. Okay. Right fingertips to the block or to the floor. And kind of determine what's going to be sustainable here. What's going to help you revolve the spine while staying in alignment. So the hand can be, any number of places here. The block can be any number of places. Then drawing back through the right hip, bring the right fingertips to the floor, perhaps tented against the wall, not the floor. And then using that leverage of the fingertips pushing into the wall, keep the right hip pulling back, left waistline, left ribs, left shoulder, revolve towards the right wall. Choose to stay here or extend the arms straight, push the palm into the wall, maybe look up. Spray your workable fixative, and then continue to explore the pose, the expression with the tool of your breath. Okay, when you're ready, untwist, come on back up. I'm so tempted just to do that again, but I will refrain from teaching it again. So if you're on the, if you're watching the recording and you got some time, pause it and just do that whole sequence again. But for the rest of us, we have to continue on. So we're going to do some camel rabbit, and then we'll do our shoulder stand. So just in case you need to know what's coming up next, that's what's happening. So we're going to start in our camel pose. Haven't done an excessive amount of back bending today, but this is a back bend, but we have done a lot of focus on the spine. If you like, half blocks, framing the outsides of the ankles as you stand up on your knees. Point the toes straight back and put the hands on the hips. Let's just do this at first. Lengthen your spine, push your feet into the floor, lengthen down through the tailbone and lift up into the front of the pelvic crest. Take your arms forward, parallel to the floor, palms facing down. And then exhale, sink your hips back towards your heels. Inhale forward, 4 more. Exhale, sink the hips. Inhale forward. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, last one. Exhale, sink the hips. Inhale, come back up. Push down through the knees, bring your hands to your invisible back pockets, or maybe you have pockets on your yoga pants. Maybe you're practicing in jeans. If you have pockets, just put your hands in those pockets, press the flesh of your buttocks down as you lift into the front of the pelvis, roll the shoulders back, and look up. Again, lengthen up along the belly button, through the heart space, up and out through the chin. Pull the shoulder blades onto the back, pushing the heart space skyward. And then start to take the gaze back, curl the chest back, keep the tailbone down, press into the tops of the feet, push the knees down, keep the hips over the knees. Eventually you might bring the hands to the blocks, thumbs turn out, fingers in, rolling the inner elbows out. Eventually you might bring the fingertips down to the heels, or cup the ankles or heels with the hands. You might choose to keep the head suspended or release the head back. Push down with the feet. Lift up with the heart. Open up the front body. Spray the fixative. Work the pose with breath. Hands to hips, push the hips down, lift the chest up. Head might come up last. Take the knees together, sit the hips to the heels. Place the hands on the thighs, neutralize the spine. find a point to focus your gaze and soften the eyes. Return to the breath, the interplay of the internal and the external. Do some data collection about this moment. Where are you feeling? What are you feeling in your body? What data might you be collecting through these external sensors? The temperature of the room, maybe sounds occurring in the room around you or on the recording. Arrive in this moment. The results of everything that has happened in our practice, in our lives, in the universe. Okay, again, come up onto the knees. Knees can be hip width distance apart, toes back, blocks there for support. Press the buttocks flesh down as you lift into the front of the pelvis. Push the feet down. Roll the shoulders back, look up. Consider keeping the head suspended or releasing the head back. Lift into the heart and then start to look back, curl back. Eventually bringing the hands to the blocks or to the heels. Thumbs to the outsides of the blocks or heels, fingers to the inside so that inner elbows shine out to either side of the room. Feel the effect of the shoulder blades pushing together and upwards on the heart. Again, establish the shape. Spray the workable fixative and then adjust with breath. As you're ready, hands come to hips. Lift up through the chest, lift the head, knees together, feet together, toes point back, perhaps some support between the hips and the heels, or between the shins and the floor. Neutralize the spine, chin parallel to the floor, back the neck long, crown of the head tall. Look forward and slowly start to walk your hands forward on the mat. Laying your ribs and your torso over the thighs as you walk your arms forward, look forward, spread the fingers, and then release the forehead and forearms down. Arrive in this shape, and then again, work with the breath. Perhaps deeper access to the back body in this shape. From here, sweep the arms back and grab hold of the outsides of the heels. Begin to tuck your chin towards your chest, pull your forehead towards or to the knees. And then keeping a good grip on the ankles, start to push your shins down and lift your hips up. The arms will begin to be pulled taut,
Shoulder blades being drawn apart, creating and exploring space between the vertebra along the back side of the body. Belly button in towards the spine. Kick with the heels, push with the hips. And then slowly hips down,
Push with the hands, come back up. So going through some extremes with the spine, moving from our back bend camel pose into this deep forward fold, rounded spine, rabbit pose. So similar relationship with the cat and cow. Okay, let's go again. Fold the torso over the thighs, walk the arms forward,
release the head down, sweep the arms back, grab the outsides of the ankles, the heels with the hands. Pull the chin towards the chest, forehead towards or to the knees. Kick the heels into the hands, push the hips up. Find the breath. Spray the fixative, work with the breath. Lower the hips.
round back up, and we are going to take a shoulder stand before we move into Savasana. So I like to I have different wall spaces that I use for different things, but again, you might bring the mat to an uninterrupted, undisturbed wall space, this time bringing the short end of the mat to that wall. Set up into shoulder stand. I'm not going to take the time to go into the details of coming up into this, since we have been doing this for several weeks now. So if you are curious about getting up into a shoulder stand with some detailed instruction, you might seek that in a different class of mine. I wish I could refer to a specific one, or you might just Google search YouTube for do a YouTube search of how to get into a shoulder stand. This is an Iyengar method that I'm demonstrating, where you really make sure to get the shoulders underneath the back body with the use of blankets. But I've had some feedback that some people feel that this is feels less supportive, less safe. Okay, so as you're ready,
come through plow pose, or just push your hips straight up into the wall. Try to get those shoulder blades underneath you so that the vertebra of the upper back are lifted off of the floor, and that you are in fact standing on your shoulders, as the name of the pose would imply. When you're ready, legs go up. Seeking the alignment of heels over hips, hips over shoulders. So how might you move to in search of that alignment? So it might not be something that your body can create at this moment, but how do you move? How do you create strength and flexibility towards that goal? Hands up the back of the body, pushing the hips high. Chin is towards the chest, keeping the back of the neck long and stable. And I like to do some fancy footwork here. That was just supposed to be a silly way of putting it. I kind of like to pedal out the feet, pushing one heel up as I reach the opposite toes up. And then I like to bring the feet together, flex both feet, point both toes. So likely the work that is happening here is the thigh bones are pushing back, and the tailbone is lengthening up actively, and the shoulder blades are pulling together. As you're ready, bring your feet to the wall or to the floor overhead. Taking some time to explore plow pose. I've also been enjoying the deaf person pose, practiced by bending the knees, drawing the knees towards the shoulders. With the toes tucked under, you can kind of determine how deeply your knees are towards the floor, which will intensify the pose the lower the knees go. Arms can wrap around the thighs. You can grab wrists or hands over your head. And called as such because, I think because the legs hugging into the side of the head really dampens the sound of children playing. I don't know if you can hear that on the recording. Okay, eventually unroll from whatever shape you're in, lowering the hips carefully back towards the floor. If you're using the padding, you might scooch up so that your hips are on the padding, your head, shoulders are on the floor. Frame the body with the upper arms, coming to robot arms. Everybody knows what that is, right? Beep boop, beep boop. Palms face one another, spread the fingers. Elbows push down. Legs can either be straight out or knees can be bent, feet on the floor as we come into fish pose. Push the upper arms down, elbows down, arch the upper back away from the floor, and then land the crown of the head, land towards the crown of your head. So pushing the elbows down to arch the upper back away from the floor and open up the throat. So countering that shoulder stand where we have the chin pressed against the chest or towards the chest. And now once again, opening up the throat, arching the back body. And then chin to chest as you lower the body back down. Let's begin our descent into Savasana. So you might move padding off to the side. Once again, come down to lie on the back, arms spread out to either side of the room. Take your feet on the mat, knees bent, feet are as wide as your mat. Exhale, let the knees fall to the left. Inhale, draw the knees through center, and exhale, let the knees fall to the right. So continue this movement, this ancient movement of windshield wiping, moving the legs with the breath side to side. Encouraging release in the upper body, in the abdomen. Knees back through center after the final visit to the right hand side. Lift the feet up off the floor. Cup the knees with the hands and pushing the knees into the hands. Just rock the low back from side to side. So feel deep down into the low spine, the outer hips, the sensation of pressure pushing from the earth into the body. And then draw the knees in and up towards the armpits, transition to happy baby, taking hold of the outer edges of the feet, soles of the feet open to the ceiling.
And then rock side to side, one knee down, then the other. Again, feeling possibly tuning into that sensation of pressure, the weight of the body pressing downward, the solidness of the earth pushing it back into the body. Inner feet come together, interlace your fingers around the outer edges of the feet. Widen out through the inner thighs, coming to a reclined bound angle or a reclined butterfly pose. Extension through the inner thighs, contraction through the outer hips, length along the spine. You might tilt your chin down towards your chest to emphasize the length of the neck. For today, as you take the feet apart, grab each foot with each hand and do a little wide-legged extension. Push out through the heels. Explore that sensation. And then give yourself a big hug, knees and shins together. Wrap your arms around the fronts of your legs. First, flatten the back, actually. Squeeze the legs in. Heads of the arm bones down towards the floor, chin towards the chest. Back body long, more of your spine on the floor. And then curl up. Chin to chest, forehead towards or to the knees, tailbone towards the heels, less of your back body on the floor as you squeeze in. Can you cultivate gratitude for yourself for taking the time, the intention to do this practice? And slowly lower yourself onto the mat, finding a expression of Savasana that feels safe and supportive today. Gather your comfort items, whether it be a sweater, a pair of socks, a weighted blanket, an eye pillow, and bring some intention to this moment, to this shape. Let's do that. Do the preliminary work, the preliminary drawing. Make the legs long and heavy. Release the weight of the feet out to either side of the room. You might tuck the tailbone gently to encourage length through the low back. Maybe shoulder blades tuck gently one at a time underneath the back body to encourage this sense of openness, vulnerability in the heart space. Arms at an angle along the sides of the body. Let the palms unfurl like blossoming flowers. You might create subtle movements to actively lengthen the back of the neck for setting down the head, nestling the weight of the skull into the surface beneath you. Begin to reawaken the body, making movements with the fingers and toes, and find your own expression of awakening here. Do you like to circle the wrists and ankles? Do you like to hug the knees into the chest or stretch the arms overhead? Eventually bend the knees, feet to the floor, extend the left arm along the left ear and roll onto the left side of the body, transitioning from the corpse pose into a fetal position. Push back up into a seated position. If you will, keep the eyes closed. Bring the hands onto the heart center. Reconnect with breath. It might even be possible to sense the beat of your own heart. Perhaps you feel it in your hands. Perhaps you feel it in your body. We will chant Om one single time. Exhale. And inhale for Om. Thank you for your presence and your dedication to the practice. The light in me honors and bows to the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for being here this morning. So as I have mentioned, I'm creating a new schedule. For the time being, I'm going to teach live stream classes Wednesday evening at 5:30 and Sunday evening at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm making that calendar. I wrote it out, and I'm going to spray it with my Workable Fixative, and we'll see what works and what needs to be reworked. So please attend when you can. Please get in touch with me. I have been doing this Monday morning Zoom meeting for the past 6 months, and that will be coming to an end. If you would like to join a Zoom meeting on Wednesday evenings, it's kind of going to imagine it will be a little different. Some people who have attended in the past won't be able to make it, and if you would like to meet and just chat a little bit, check in before class, I'll be doing that at 4:30 Eastern time on Sunday afternoon. So I'd love an opportunity to talk with you and see your face. So if you're interested in that, please text me if you have my phone number, or you can get in touch with me via the athenspublic@gmail email address. So I'd love to hear from you all. I'm really going to miss this Monday class. It's definitely a nice way to start my week and a grounding experience. So I hope to get back to it at some point, but for now, new things are transpiring. Please be in touch, and I will be having some live classes, live outdoor classes too, where we will meet at the Rubber Soul formerly Rubber Soul studio space, now Revolution Therapy and Yoga, and then we'll walk to a kind of grassy area where there's space for about 10 practitioners. So I'm planning to do that on Sunday, September 20th at 9:30 a.m. There's no covered space, so it would be dependent on being pouring down rain. But that will be. I'll hopefully put a link to signing up for that on my website if that's something you're interested. If you're in or near Athens, Georgia. So those are